Of course, and if we could dim the lights a little bit, you'd probably be able to see the pictures a little bit better. But this is right in St. Mark's Plaza. Now you can see that the age of that building. Venice is a very, very interesting city. It was actually founded, going back to when we just talked, it was founded in 400 AD, 400 after Christ. So it's a very old city, and this is St. Mark's Basilica. The interesting thing about Venice is that when it was built, now think about this, and if any of you are engineers, you'll appreciate this. The city was built on wood piles that went down into the island. It's made up of 118 islands. That's why there are no roads. The only way you get around is on the water, which we'll see like right there. That's their main highway. That's Cypress Avenue, if you will. And that's how they get around. They get around by boat. Everything is revolving around water. Now, the romantic part is you get to see gondolas and all that kind of good stuff. But that's a means of transport. That's their economy. Of course, it's built right on the water. So you say, how in the world is that building, like this cathedral, supported on wood beams that go down, pilings that go down into the 118 islands? It's a world wonder. People don't believe me on that, but you just stop, look into it. Think of when this was built, when those things were driven into the ground. They have become petrified, if you will. And right now, it's not sinking. There's no problem there at all. From there, we went south into Croatia. How many have been to Croatia? How many have even heard of Croatia? Okay, Croatia is one of those countries that goes back to Split, which is the name of the largest city there. Split was Croatia was one of 6 republics that made up Yugoslavia. Remember that? Yugoslavia was almost a famous word at one time. It's famous now because of a TV program. Do any of you know which TV program that is? It's not a very good program. I don't recommend you watch it, but it's being filmed there. It's called The Game of Thrones. It's filmed right here in Split in Croatia. It's a very romantic city. It's a very tropical city. It is a resort city. But no one knows about it as a resort city because it's so old, where they've combined the old and the new. And it's not fancy. It doesn't have the big high rise on the water, but it does have the castles like you see here and the old fortresses like you see at this particular, see here, this is the old, there's your new. And it's all together. It's really fascinating. And there is the actual fortress that the Roman Emperor Diocletian lived in the 3rd century. This was his fortress when they invaded the eastern side of the Mediterranean. Italy being on the western side, they crossed over the Mediterranean and invaded. Now, if they continued on to the east, they would have gone into what is now Bulgaria and Hungary and that area. But Split was very popular. Now, they made the old fortress into a current hotel. And you can stay in there. It's about $200 a night for a room. And quite frankly, it's all modernized. Obviously, they brought it up to date. But it's fascinating. They have combined the old and the new. You'll see over here on the right, you've got the old gates of the city, right over here, right there. And then, of course, you've got the new back there, and you've got some new and old on this side. It's really fascinating. Of course, every place in Europe, including Split, Croatia, has markets every morning. So we wouldn't be here right now. If we lived there, we would be at the market, and then we'd come in later for our gathering here. We go to the market every day. It's very, very common. The second city we traveled to was Dubrovnik. How many have been to Dubrovnik? Dubrovnik is, and I can publicly state this, and if you prove me wrong, good luck. It's the most beautiful city in the world. It is a complete walled city. And you're looking down on it right now. People live inside Dubrovnik. It's all been modernized. We took the cable up, and there's my beautiful wife and I. 57 years ago, we were in Germany together, and she still looks as pretty now as she did then. I tell her that, she says, "Oh, I don't mean that." I do mean it. You can see. Anyway, we were up above. We took the cable car. If you ever go to Dubrovnik, you definitely want to go up and on the top on the cable car and look down. It's a magnificent old city. It was originally